All right, example one asks us, how are the base angles of an isosceles triangle related? So first, let's talk about what an isosceles triangle is. So an isosceles triangle is a triangle that's defined as having two sides that are the same length. So if we have triangle ABC, and if two of the sides are the same length, so if two sides are congruent, so for example, if AB is congruent to BC, then we have an isosceles triangle. Okay, so the question is asking us, how are the base angles related? So the base angles are going to be the angles that are opposite the two congruent sides. So our base angles in this example would be A and C, and we want to know how they're related. Okay, so what we want to do here uh, is we want to look for a way to show that they're going to be congruent. Okay, and again, it's hard to think of how they wanted you to know that there, but it's kind of a problem-solving question. So what we're going to do is let's draw a line from B straight down to the base here, and then let's call that point D. Okay, and let's say that that is going to be halfway. D is halfway between A and C. So this would be a perpendicular bisector there. We can then do a rigid transformation. We can reflect this triangle on the left here. We can reflect it over that line BD. So when we reflect this over the line BD, A is going to match up with C, B is going to stay with B, and then D is going to stay on D. So those two triangles would be the exact same size and shape. So those two triangles would be congruent. So triangle A, B, D. Again, rigid transformations. Our reflections are a rigid transformation, so the pre-image and the image would be congruent. So if we reflected, again, maybe I can draw it out with different colors here. So if we reflect along this perpendicular bisector that we drew in, okay, since we made D halfway between A and C, when we reflect A over that line, A prime, right, A prime would be on top of C. Okay, D prime would stay on D, right? That's on the line of reflection, so it's not going to move. And then B prime would be right on B. So this triangle, when we reflect that left half over that line BD, it's going to match up perfectly with triangle BDC. So because it lines up perfectly, we know triangle ABD is congruent to triangle BDC. I'm sorry, A matches up with C. So it's going to be triangle, right? And this is why, again, the order is important. So ABD would match up with CBD. Okay, so since we now have a triangle congruent statement, we therefore know that angle A is going to be congruent to angle C. Okay, so that's going to show that the base angles of your isosceles triangles are going to be congruent. So if we drew it again here, right, and we had an isosceles triangle, we would know our base angles are also going to be congruent in an isosceles triangle. Okay, and if we look at their solution, they're probably going to show us the same thing here. Yep, so they even used the same letters, A, B, C. Okay, they drew that perpendicular bisector there. And that's the line they reflected over. So it's telling us they're doing a reflection over line BD, right? So B goes to B, D goes to D, because those two are on the line of reflection. And then A, right, C is going to A. So then they're telling us that those two triangles, BCD and BAD, are congruent. Therefore, angle A and angle C would be congruent, right? These are another way to name angle A and C. BCA and BAC. Those are those two angles there. So we therefore know these two angles are congruent.